The film deals with a lot of heavy subject matter around homophobia, colonization, intergenerational trauma. That's sort of a counterpoint to that.
In this episode, we are sitting down with Bretten Hannam, really one of the most prominent two-spirited filmmakers in the world. And they are here to talk about their third feature film, Sk+te'kmujue'katik, or At the Place of Ghosts, which is a really visceral and beautiful modern ghost story that has a lot to say about the past. I was so captivated by it, and I was so excited to sit down with Bretten to talk about it. Bretten, it's so nice to have you here.
Very good to be here.
And I'm very excited to talk about your new film, Sk+te'kmujue'katik, or At the Place of Ghosts. Even though it's modern, it has a lot to say about the past, of its characters, of perhaps you. I just want to maybe get into just a little bit about what you wanted to say with this film, sort of on a bigger scale.
What I've heard it described as a sort of a genre-adjacent type film. So yeah, a modern-day ghost story is a good way to describe it. It's a human story, right? It's about family. More than anything, it's about family, community, history, and relationships. It's all about relationships, right? Looking at the I guess, unique structure of things is sort of inspired by Indigenous oral storytelling. But really, it's focusing on like what those relationships are with, like, you know, community, with pasts, with the history of a place, specifically back home in Nova Scotia.
It's such an incredible film to watch, but then you are sort of thinking about all these things as you leave it, and it sort of really sticks with you the days after you see it.
Great, it worked.
Yeah, and it's your third film, as I said, following North Mountain and Wildhood. What does it feel like to be on the other side of your third feature, which is like, you know, really incredible achievement for a filmmaker in 2025?
Yeah, it's super weird. I keep thinking that someone made a mistake and they'll come at any moment and be like, actually, we need all of this back. But I'm very privileged to have made a single film, let alone three. And to have had the support of everyone that's been behind me, especially the latest one, because it's a weird film. So it sort of blew my mind that so many people related to the script enough that they, you know, were like, let's turn this all into a movie and go on this crazy journey together. So it's certainly a very strange but good feeling.
And you worked with a lot of the same people that you worked with on Wildhood. Guy Godfrey, his cinematography is incredible on both films. Yeah. But someone that's new to this family is Jeremy Dutcher, who did the music. You want to talk a little bit about that relationship and how he became involved and yeah.
Yeah. So back when we did Wildhood, which feels like 400 years ago.
I mean, a lot happened in between then and now.
That's very fair. We had used one of Jeremy's songs at the end of that movie, and it was so beautiful and so amazing. And so it was like, well, that's the dream, is like that, you know, eventually I can work with Jeremy and like get his music into a movie one day. And thankfully, Jeremy's so busy, is doing so many things. So like reaching out, I was like, I know it's not a possibility. Even if, you know, he wanted to work on it, he might just not be available to do it.
Yeah.
And somehow it totally blows my mind that he found a way to not only like do the music for this movie, but to do it to the level and quality and like emotion and depth that he did. It was just sort of like incredible. Yeah.
What was the sort of working relationship like as he was doing that?
So I would get things from them, and then I would like relate to it and like talk about it and give notes and probably give, you know, very strange, like it's a sort of buzzy sound or whatever, or like bells or lighter sounds or happy sounds. And anyway, they would go away and like digest things and then, you know, respond to it and come back. So it was it was just a natural process, right? Which I think is maybe slightly unusual, because it was more, the score was shaped as we edited. And they responded to like edits that we did, and then we would respond to music that they would send.
As we said before, this is your third feature, and most of your features, or all of them, sort of deal with two-spirit identity in one way or another, and you really have become a definitive two-spirit filmmaker. I mean, you have. I feel like some people don't quite get that. So two-spirit is a term that was coined, it's an English term that was coined in the early 90s, I believe.
Yeah.
But that goes back, the identities it represents, the pan-Indigenous identities it represents, goes back thousands and thousands of years, which some people don't know. And I feel like this film, even subtly, sort of speaks to that history. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in this film in particular, because there's time is a little loose, we'll say,
Sure.
That our characters, you know, they meet younger versions of themselves, they meet their ancestors. For me, I wanted to show that's always been part of culture and community. So like our two-spirit character, Misael, can see their ancestor, like that's part of their community, it's part of their lineage, but also for their brother, the other character, Andale, to see this. It's like a natural thing. It's always been around.
Yeah.
And since the film deals with a lot of heavy subject matter around homophobia, colonization, intergenerational trauma, that's sort of a counterpoint to that. At least that was my hope.
No, it's very successful. You weave together a lot in this film, and you really, really pull it off. I was very impressed. I'm also curious, now that you have made three films, like what's kind of the dream going forward?
Make 20.
Make 20?
No, I have ideas for other things. I'm always working on other scripts. But really, I know not to take things for granted. Nothing is guaranteed. I am of the mindset of like, I just hope the things that I do can benefit people, especially my community, that hopefully that, you know, generations after me, you know, what I do at least has made some space or opened a path or becomes a stepping stone for them to advance in some way. And always keeping sort of at the forefront, no matter what I do, that, you know, trying to give back to community. So if I am fortunate enough to make another film or anything, that's sort of like my impetus and my goal.
I mean, that's a great impetus and goal. And, one thing that has been sort of thrown around this year, at least at the Toronto Film Festival in particular, that there's more Indigenous films than ever and these sorts of notions. Obviously, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious sort of what you feel about sort of the state of Indigenous filmmaking in this country and where we can still improve.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. There's so many Indigenous films that I can't go see them all.
That's amazing.
Which I'm like very sad about. But at the same time,
you'll see them all.
Yeah, I will eventually see them all. But it's like I can't just be like, okay, I picked the 2 that are here this year. It's like there's 8 or more, and there's like 8 or 10 in a short. Anyway, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's only been in the past maybe 5 or 6 years where things have sort of like, I think, begun to grow exponentially. The thing that's changed is that we now have been given space. Space has been made for us, opportunities, funding, training, mentorship. The voices, the talent has always been there. It's, you know, intrinsic to as our relationships to the land, as our relationships to culture, as our relationship to language. That storytelling is part of, is part of us. So as we move forward, as long as, we hold the space and push forward, it'll only become more and more and exponential. And I think as well, the quality of the stories will deepen and increase. I see now people, especially younger Indigenous filmmakers, looking at the way that films are told, like the structure of things or how sets are run, and saying, we can do this differently. We can do this from a perspective of our community and our culture. And that, I think, will be the next thing to shake things up, I hope.
Well, it's nice to have a hopeful thing in this day and age.
It's very good.
And it must be very thrilling for you to be part of this growth and part of this movement. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It kind of gives me life.
Well, congratulations on this film. I hope everybody goes and sees it. And thank you so much for being here with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm going to take your photo.
Cool.
3, 2, 1.